And back here live on a Friday morning, State Senator Arthur Orr getting ready to go back to work Tuesday. Been off, what, 6 months?
Now you say that.
Now, come on. I got in late last night from Montgomery, late, and supper was already eating around the kitchen table, so I had to fend for myself, and I got a McDonald's hamburger on the way in off the interstate exit. Yeah, well.
So you were in Montgomery yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You're up here today doing the most popular morning program in the history of morning
That's
television.
right. We came
got to
back,
make his own
just for
coffee.
this.
And then from here, you're going to Dale Jackson on VNE at 7 this morning.
That's right.
We just saw Dr. Parker Griffith on there. You guys have been out of session now, what? Y'all just go one session a year, only work one?
Well, no, I don't.
Unless it's a special.
Carry on. Come on, man. You really
Clear that up for him. What do you do?
But I know
when
you
you're not
stay
doing
busy year-round.
Well, and most all legislators stay
Well, I've
busy
seen Dan
year-round.
Williams not doing much.
Well, come on now. That's because you're not following him around. We all have things we have to go to, and was actually down there twice this week, Tuesday and Thursday. And there's just a lot going on and a lot of need to be down there. And so
Let me bring up something right off.
I-65 quite a bit.
Yeah, I bet you do. I know Dan might be a better one to answer this, or Mickey Hammond. Mickey says this deal is a bunch of baloney. The Huntsville Times has got an editorial today, too, about this immigration law and stuff. What is your personal feelings on that? Did you guys pass last year, the immigration bill for the state of Alabama?
Well, I think the public wanted something done, and they wanted a strong piece of legislation, and that's what they got. Now, will we have to go back and make some administrative adjustments? Absolutely, but the people in the election really wanted something done, and from what I hear and what I see from my constituents, which includes those in Limestone County, there is a difference, and people can notice a change. And Jamie, we ought to be enforcing the law, and the federal government left a void and a vacuum there that had not been filled, and the law was not being enforced. And of course, they're fighting us tooth and nail all the way, and we're going to do what's best for the state and what's right.
Well, you know, Mickey Hammond, of course, Mickey's come up here and done our show exclusively a couple of times talking about this. He's talking about how many jobs this has opened up since the exodus of the illegals. You know,
there is no doubt, with all due respect to present company, there is no doubt the media, as soon as this bill was passed, was all over it with editorial boards and criticizing and
the liberal
media. Well, I call them what you will, but they were all negative on it. But I'll say this: there's a graphic that I saw just last week. In that graphic, it had all our states around us. It had Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Florida. And if you saw the trend lines as far as unemployment, Alabama's unemployment rate was dropping 2 times faster than these surrounding states. Now, is it because of the illegal immigration bill? I don't know, but I also know economists and PhDs can throw some pretty big numbers on the board and try to justify where they get with their final number.
Well, I know y'all will make some amendments to that though, probably this year, right?
Yes.
You were in the Decatur Daily the other day, no state pensions for corrupted officials, and it goes on. This is one of the things you're going to be sponsoring, a new bill this year, and we'll talk about some more in just a moment. But because Roy Johnson kept getting his $132,060 a year pension after pleading guilty to taking bribes and kickbacks while serving as Alabama's community college chancellor. It says here, Republican State Senator Arthur Orr, Decatur is out to change that. Current Alabama law does not take away the state pension of public officials or employees convicted of crimes related to the job except for judges. How can this be possible, that we still pay them a pension when they did something illegal the time they were in?
There's no law against it, so that's the reason. And also, you look at...
Is this a common problem?
Well, it's not common, but why should the state reward someone through the state match on the employer match, the state match on their pension? Why should we reward someone who's breached that trust and broken that trust in that position of a service supposedly to the state? So I believe if we take that away, and there'll be a strong disincentive before you maybe have an educator who has sexual assault or a sexual crime against a child or something like that, or Roy Johnson, where kickbacks and bribes, et cetera, and seek to enrich themselves, all because of their position with the state.
How hard is it when you go down and you propose a new bill like this? How hard is it to get a bill like that passed? What obstacles do you have to overcome? Major obstacles. Well, there's probably a bunch, but
it's been said before that it's very easy to kill a bill and very difficult to pass a bill, and it will be tough to get through the process. Actually, I had this bill last year and got all the way through the Senate, through the House committee, and to the final vote in the House, and it died the last night of the session because of the Jefferson County occupation tax debacle that they were fighting about, with the bankruptcy, et cetera. So we'll just have to go back to go. You remember your little Saturday morning, I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill in the process. So, it's the same down in Montgomery. So.
Yeah, what was that? That's a great point. Yeah, it was. Well, I know Mickey Hammond worked on his, 7 years to get that passed? Something
That's
like
true.
that?
Well, you had to have a leadership change to get that illegal immigration bill. And I think that's one of the reasons the Democratic Party got beaten so badly in Alabama. They had been promising for years to do something about illegal immigration and had done nothing. And the people held them accountable.
Wow, bringing up that cartoon, man, that was a long time ago seeing that on there. What are some of the other things you're going to be proposing this year when y'all go back in session next week?
Well, I've got a bill that will address the spice issue, the spice drugs, the enhanced cannabinoids that young people get involved with. Of course, Governor Bentley.
Now, is that supposed to be all off the shelves in Alabama?
Yes, Governor Bentley issued an emergency order, but we really need to come back in the law and make it permanent. In addition to that, I've got a bill that addresses fraud for government benefits. When people go in and lie about their income and what they're making and get government benefits, whether it's an EBT card or food stamps or unemployment compensation, Medicaid, all these things where there's a trust factor and people are signing the line and saying, well, I'm eligible because I'm poor. Well, we need to toughen up our laws for those who are breaching that trust and violating that, and it'll save money for those who are truly needy because we have limited resources. That's a fact.
Are y'all going to try to do anything like I know Florida had it, and
Drug
if you're on
testing.
if
Drug
you're on a
testing
food
and
stamp that
welfare.
you got to pass?
There will, I'm not sponsoring, but there will be legislation to that effect. It'll be probably tied more into the Medicaid program, because if someone's going to take drugs, why should we, on the other hand, be paying for their health care if they're going to be doing things to hurt their health care by taking illegal substances?
I know Roger Bedford out of Russellville is doing something about meth.
Right.
How big a problem is that in your
Major.
mind in the state of Alabama?
It's a big problem. And we passed 2 years ago the registry system. So if you go in to buy pseudoephedrine, for Sudafed or et cetera, they'll take your driver's license and swipe it. And what that does, it goes to a central database. And if Cooper's out there at 6 different stores that day buying Sudafed, they'll know about the second or third store that what you're doing, and they'll refuse to sell. About the 5th or 6th, they may call the law on you. So
I have a 28-year-old daughter who got out of Tutwiler prison 3 years ago, who was in for making meth.
3.5 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
Doing very well now, though. We're very proud of
So the divide will come. Senator Bedford's bill would like to pull all pseudoephedrines behind the counter. So now Cooper's got to go get a prescription from his doctor and pay that copay and all that. So there'll be some dialogue.
Now you're saying I can't get spice, I can't get the fake marijuana, I can't get stuff to make meth with.
We're trying to clean you up. I don't know. We're working on it. We're going to get you clean before long.
All I can go is ABC store. All right, there's a thing this morning down in Ben Montgomery, the Decatur Daily, is talking about Limestone County could offer Carpenter $1 million incentive. Today we were there for the kickoff, groundbreaking of that. You were instrumental, along with several other North Alabama people, getting that here. Exactly what all does this mean in $1 million in incentives?
Well, it's part of the deal, and I have to say this. The Limestone County Commission really stepped up to make this deal happen. Chairman Menifee, there was a lot of back and forth to which I was privy, and it's, as far as it's back to you, and when Chairman Menifee would, have to make some tough decisions of what he could commit the county to, they really stepped up and did a good job. Of course, City of Athens did with the utilities in certain ways, but that is a significant project. And you asked about legislation. I'm going to have a bill that will help projects like that. That's a $513 million investment. You think what that's going to mean for Limestone County schools and the tax rolls here, property tax rolls here in Limestone County. But our economic development system is built on how many jobs and at what salary. 240 some odd jobs, including contractor jobs. So a good number of jobs, but not 1,000. But the investment is huge, and once they're here, I doubt very seriously that they're going to take that $500 million investment and close it down in the next 5 or 10 years. They're going to be here for a while, and that's a great thing.
We just talked about a minute ago,
That's good.
they're talking about the possibility of another BRAC with Obama closing some more stuff here. You think that's going to happen? I mean, are we going to get another influx of folks here?
Well, you know, what goes, I don't want to be pessimistic or hex the BRAC relocation. We stand to gain, but what the federal government gives, the federal government can take away. So we need to have our A game on, and Joe Rich and the team over in Madison County that he has put together is very instrumental in preserving what we have and trying to grow. Do I think we'll have another round? You hear mixed information about a BRAC even as soon as next year and in 2015. So we'll see. Congress is back and forth, back and forth. I don't know that they'll settle the issue until after the election as far as whether there's going to be another round of BRAC or 2 rounds.
What do you like most about serving the people and being a state senator?
Just that, serving the people. You know, it's very rewarding to try to help those. You know, was in the Peace Corps years ago, over in a mud hut over in Asia for a couple years, training teachers. But you know, we've got a lot of needs up here, and also scrapping or fighting for this area. You know, I like the South Alabama boys and taking them on, and making sure that we up here in North Alabama get what we're due.
Now, how many political things have you run for in your life, offices?
Just this.
Just the one?
Yeah.
So you've never been beaten?
Well, I've only had two real races, so yes.
Well,
But the first one was a doozy. It was almost a $2 million.
Oh.
It was the most expensive race for the state senate, one of the most they've ever had. At that time, I think it was the most expensive in 2006. So it was something else.
The reason I asked that,
A real eye opener for a rookie.
You may not have heard this.
He has.
But I ran for probate judge.
Oh, yes. I had a card I wanted you to autograph.
Well, I got you one autograph right here.
Oh, you already ready for it?
I already did it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, this will go in my archives of famous people that I know.
See, our yard signs weren't big enough. That was our problem. That's what we thought. This was all we did. But I already autographed one for you, so I just wondered, you know,
Now this isn't going to jinx me. That was probably the shortest political career I've ever been affiliated with.
Well, there's my campaign. One of my campaign committee was right there, LSU guy. That was one of the reasons we did.
That's what happened.
We couldn't get the hairdressers to support us. We, you know, just had a hard time. I wore makeup, probably the only 3. You know, we did a press conference in here. Matter of fact, you were here, wasn't he?
I was here before Christmas.
Yeah, you were here. You were
We used
here.
that Christmas video of
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a crowd in here. Well, Don Mansell was here too when he was doing good to me.
Yeah.
But he was here, but we had a good time and went up doing everything. But you got any advice for a guy like me just trying to serve the people like you, being a Judge Jamie? Had a good ring to it.
Listen, I'll take the humor off the table and I'll be serious. You're telling people what's going on. Now, newspapers, you know, you got to filter through some of that sometimes. That they have a tough job in getting it right all the time. But you're informing people as they're preparing to go out to work and putting their breakfast together and doing all that. That's a tremendous service, and I mean that. People need to know what's going on.
So in other words, stay out of politics is what you're trying to tell me in a nice way.
You just be a conduit. You just be a conduit through which people get their information.
All right, you're heading next door to Dale Jackson. Tell Dale we said hello. Always
We'll do it.
Appreciate a free plug over there if you can throw it in for me.
Dale, I'll cover you.
You
do
never
a great
quit, do
job.
you?
You do a great job. Thanks for coming up, spending time with us. Look, don't work too hard down there next week. Keep an eye on Dan Williams.
All right, we'll do it.
Cutchin and all that bunch
we'll
down
keep
there,
you
and
straight.
Mickey and the whole bunch. Thanks again, Arthur, for coming up, doing a great job, and I know people love you and support you, so thank you again.
Thank you. Good
We'll
to be
take a
here.
break. We'll come back, finish up. Well, while I'm looking around, ain't got much, but we'll see what we can do. Y'all hang on.